What's happening? What's good? It's JV back on the JV show. Today I got my brother MJ from Real Talk with MJ joining me. Happy to get him on between his Sixers grind. I know they're going deep into the playoffs right now. MJ's pretty hyped about that. But we got him on today, talk a little ball, which is super exciting. We got some cool lists to go over here, talking AFC, NFC, quarterback, head coach duos. We'll talk about it all. MJ, good to see you, brother. How you doing?
JV, how you feeling? Talk some NFL. I got some takes for you, bro. There's some teams I feel like they could get over the hump. As other teams, they're
Yes,
gonna take
sir.
a down season. So I'm happy to talk about it all.
No doubt, no doubt. If y'all enjoy the content, please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. We grinding here during the off season to bring y'all some NFL content. It's dry out here, I can't lie, but I think we got creative for this episode, which is kind of exciting. The first thing me and MJ had kind of organized here, we're talking NFL teams for this upcoming 2026 season. Over or underrated? Now, there's a handful of teams that I think are kind of floating that middle ground, and as we all know, those wildcard teams often fluctuate. The division winners, I mean, you can kind of predict them more times than not, but those wildcard teams, you never really know. We look at a team last year like the Colts that looked like they were winning their division outright early on in the season. Then they, crap their pants to end the season. So you really never know. Right now, we're going through like 4 or 5 teams here, NJ, and we're asking, are these NFL teams over or underrated based on their projected win totals for 2026? I grabbed these off some betting website. First,
Good.
we got up. The Carolina Panthers, 7.5 wins projected. I'm saying that's overrated slightly. And listen, I love the hype about the Carolina Panthers, and I was on that hype train last year. But from my point of view, all I see is an extremely difficult schedule, especially at home. And I have little trust in Bryce Young. This could have been an 11-win team last year, MJ. I think we might have talked about this the last time you were on, but this also could have been like a 5 to 6 win team. You just never really know. And that division, although it's up for grabs, Carolina kind of let everyone have a shot at it by the end of the year. They were pretty lucky to come out alive as a division winner.
Hey, well, I'll say you touched on it, Bryce Young. This is all about your confidence in Bryce Young. Let's just cut all the crap.
Yeah.
It's really about Bryce Young. If you believe in Bryce Young, they're gonna clear 7.5 wins. If you don't believe in Bryce Young, and the Panthers might draft a quarterback first round next year in a loaded class, and yeah, like you're gonna be down like on not only him as a player, but I'm looking at all this stuff. When we talk about the Panthers, Bryce Young, he hasn't been consistent enough for me to truly believe in him. Hasn't been consistent enough. And I struggle with seeing the great games where he's going toe to toe with Matthew Stafford, and then against maybe Tyler Suggs, he gets outplayed. It's like you don't know what to do with that. So I think it's fair, and I believe in Bryce a little bit more than you. So I'll get the over on that.
And I don't mind that. Like, I love what they did in free agency. Jalen Phillips, your guy from Philly, obviously Devin Lloyd. You know, they drafted, some people loved it, some people didn't like it. I think that they are expecting this team to move into win now mode, and this really is like a prove it year for Bryce Young. He was solid last year and he's grown. But again, like, I want to believe in him and I love the story, but I haven't seen the consistency yet. And at this point, you start to get concerned. It's like we need to see it now. So I think with the difficult schedule, it'll be hard for them to overcome that. But like you said, if Bryce Young plays lights out, they're clearing it. They're going to the playoffs and winning this division. Second team we had up, Super Bowl champs, number 2, the Seattle Seahawks, 10.5 wins. I'm saying underrated. They will remain a top 5 team in football. I think a lot of people are overlooking them. It's been a, disrespected Super Bowl team, in my opinion. I know last year the playoffs weren't the strongest we've seen. We didn't really know who was going to come out alive, and every team kind of had a shot at some point, but I do believe in Mike McDonald to keep them elite, and I really don't think their free agency losses were that bad, to be honest with you. I think their biggest loss really is going to be that OC spot, which they got to fill.
I would get the under on the Seahawks having 10.5 wins. I would say they'll probably get 10 wins, maybe 9 wins. It's a chance that they miss the playoffs. Now, looking at the players that they lost this offseason, Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP, Reek Woolen, Kobe Bryant, an edge went to the Bengals. Like, a lot of pieces on defense. Now, I know with Mike McDonald, he's going to have that defense intact no matter who. He's shown that, and you got to give him that respect. But I'm more worried about their offense, and with another year of tape on JSN and Sam Darnold, that connection, without their Super Bowl MVP, I think they take a step back, and they're going to have to rely on that defense to get them out of games. And I think 10 games is fair.
I don't mind the range. And the other thing, too, is that division is tough. And we'll talk about our top-ranked divisions at the end of this episode. But that's another thing you have to take into consideration. There are 3 playoff teams in that division. You're seeing Seattle twice, or pardon me, you're seeing the Niners twice a year. You're seeing the Rams twice a year. The Cardinals, it is what it is. 10.5 wins. You're right around that spot. I probably got them around 11 or 12. But again, you lose a few divisional battles. Who knows which way those win totals go? Number 3, the Dallas Cowboys, your division, MJ, 9.5 wins. Little pricey, in my opinion. I don't think that it's fair to put them at like a 10-win total right now, but I do really like them going into next year. So I will say underrated for the Cowboys. I like what they've done. I think defensively they got your guy from Philly, Christian Parker, back there as a DC. That's huge. I think the offense is high-powered. It's exciting to watch. I think the Cowboys get 10 wins this year, MJ.
JV, I'm a simple guy. I focus on the one guy that I feel like this is most about. If Christian Parker can get the best out of that group defensively, that defense was putrid. I'm not the biggest Dak Prescott supporter, but I will call a spade a spade. They missed the playoffs because of that defense. Strictly because of that defense. It was putrid. It was terrible. You traded away Micah Parsons. You get Quentin Williams midseason. It's a lot going on. Matt Eberflus, he wasn't good. But if you believe in Christian Parker, then the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs. They're going to have double-digit wins. And George Pickens, he got something to prove. CD got something to prove. Dak Prescott, he want to build off this season. As an Eagles fan, if their draft picks in the first round hit, Caleb Downs, you know that's going to hit. Malachi Lawrence, there's a good chance he could hit. They have a good track record in the first round. You know, they could definitely be a formidable team in the NFC in the regular season. Now, when it gets to the postseason,
that's what we're talking about.
and we're talking about winners, and we're talking about, the Philadelphia Eagles. We're talking about the Rams. We're talking about really just been those teams. I guess the Seahawks, obviously. 49ers, all right, that's a little different ball game. But regular season, I think that the Cowboys, that they got it for sure.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth too, MJ. It's like you're looking at Dak, and as a regular season quarterback, even last year, he was incredible. Like, he really was, especially coming off a season-ending injury where I didn't really expect him to come back to be like peak Dak Prescott. I kind of expected that injury to be the beginning of, a slow decline in production. He looked great. And in the regular season, he's always been that guy. And if we're talking purely about wins this season, I think they're an underrated team, and I do think they eclipse that 10-win mark.
Let me
Fourth
add this
team.
quick.
Go ahead.
The Cowboys, the fact that the sports books, if you're betting, the fact that the sports book have it at 9.5 over under, and they know so many people are going to be hype about the Cowboys next season, what the books are saying is that they're betting on the downfall, because they could have easily had them at 10.5. 11.5 would have been way too steep, but there's definitely a lot of folks that think, if they get 9 wins or less than 9 wins, that's a huge disappointment. And there's a lot of money going that way too.
No doubt. How about that other team that you're familiar with, obviously, MJ? Philly played them in the NFC Conference Championship just a year ago. Number 4, the Washington Commanders. They're at 7.5 projected wins right now. I'm saying this team is also underrated. I really do believe in Jaden Daniels as the future for this franchise. As long as they can keep him safe, A healthy Jaden Daniels plus a huge free agency. Their draft moves were big. They improved that defense tremendously. We're talking pressure off the edge. Sonny Styles, obviously, that athletic demon we saw in the draft. NFC Conference Championship just a year ago, MJ. I think people are quick to forget how good they really were on that run. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but I do think 8 to 9 wins might be in the books for them this season.
It's all about Jane Daniels' health. Like, if he's healthy, they're a formidable threat. Now, the question is, they got David Blah, who is their new OC, Christian, Cliff Kingsbury. He left or he got fired, whatever. That soured out. There's a new OC with the Commanders, so you guys see how that works with Jay Daniels. But I got enough respect for Jay Daniels that if he's healthy, and they got some new weapons, wide receivers, whatever in the draft, and with that improved defense, you expect Sonny Styles to be a game changer day one. That's what you drafted him to be. They should be good, but what was it, 7.5?
7.5. It's tight. Like it's right around that mark. Like it could be 7 or 8, I think.
Because I don't have them making the playoffs, so honestly, I think that's just right. And I would honestly go under on that. I'll go under on that. Like, I really think they'll get right at 7. Right at 7. I just don't. They haven't hit as much in the draft, and you see this all in the league. Like, the teams that have hit between 2022 to 2026 in the draft, these are all the contenders. Like the Rams with Jared Verse and Puka, Eagles, Hurts, Devontae, all these guys. Obviously the Chiefs, even the Seahawks, JSN. It's all about the draft, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's that 7 to 8 win mark. I don't think they make the playoffs. Tough division again. I don't know. I'm indifferent. I'll say underrated right now. I do think they get to 8 wins, but I don't mind if you say 7 wins, even 6 wins, to be honest with you. Last team we had up, number 5, the Minnesota Vikings, projected 8.5 wins right now. I'm saying that's underrated. I've always thought they've been a quarterback away. Kyler Murray literally has to step in and be average. They were a 9-win team last season. I believe they can replicate that with just mediocre quarterback play. Justin Jefferson, his performance will immediately improve. Jordan Addison, hopefully he becomes more of a weapon than what we saw last year with J.J. McCarthy. And that defense, having Flores in-house, is a blessing for Minnesota this year. I don't think they expected that heading into the offseason with so many teams needing head coaches. So I'll say they're an underrated team. I think they get above 9 wins or at least 9 wins in 2026.
I definitely see them getting 9 wins. I mean, they could finish 3rd in their division, have 9 wins, potentially make the playoffs, maybe 10 wins, potentially make the playoffs, and still the Packers or the Lions be over them. I think there's a lot to like with Kyler Murray and Jettas together, and this is the first time in Kyler Murray's career where he's essentially doubted. Because from high school on, I mean, he's just winning accolade after accolade. He got Heisman, first overall pick. He's gotten everything. Now it's the first time he's gotten rejected. So how does he navigate that? I think he's going to be hyper motivated. And let's be honest, if they were able to win 8 games last season with J.J. McCarthy, and he was in and out at that, and then you add Kyler Murray, it's the worst kept secret in the league that, there's a QB competition. No, it's Kyler Murray, and that's what it's made out to be. And Kevin O'Connell, he's done with J.J. McCarthy. So I think the Vikings have a lot to like, and I could definitely see them getting to the playoffs. I could see them getting a 2 seed. Top seed in there, I know we'll talk about that, but I like him a lot. I say over. I think that's underrated. I think that's super underrated.
No doubt. I think Kyler responds real well. I mean, he's a freak athlete and obviously a talented quarterback. To go that high in a draft class Arizona kind of screwed them just a little bit. Like, the coaching's never been tremendous there, and the roster's never been all that either. So I think he slots in real nice in Minnesota, a place that we saw Sam Darnold succeed. Speaking of Sam Darnold, MJ, we're going to go over our top 5 quarterback head coach duos in the NFL. I just did my top 5 quarterback receiver duos, but this is a little different, spice to it, I would say, because head coaches, they matter in a different way. You can go offense, you can go quarterback and a defensive-minded head coach. It really depends on what you prefer. But let's go through it. These are the top 5 quarterback head coach duos in the NFL. We'll go one by one, starting at number 5, MJ. At 5, I went Sam Darnold and Mike Macdonald. I want to give these two respect after winning a Super Bowl. Mike Macdonald was really the star of that Super Bowl, what he did with that defense. And Sam Darnold in back-to-back years has been really impressive. Obviously, year 1 with the Vikes, the 14 wins were great, but the playoffs didn't look too good. He really responded well, and I don't think he necessarily had a lot on his plate on this playoff run with Seattle, but he did what was necessary. I will say my honorable mentions for this list, Herbert and Harbaugh missed the cut. I do really like them both, but the playoff success kind of holds me back right now. And Bo Nix and Sean Payton, Brock Purdy, Shanahan, both of those duos I really, really like. It's tough. When you break it down, like, there are some really good duos here.
It's a lot, and it's so hard to pick. Like, I'm not the biggest Justin Herbert guy, but even leaving him and John Harbaugh, I think because I respect John Harbaugh so much, or Jim Harbaugh rather, like, they're missing the gut. It's a lot of names, and so it's all about, like, for certain, like, I guess comparisons, you want to value the quarterback more, but then there's other comparisons where, like, the head coach is just way better. Let's think about it. Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni. Compared to, let's just say, Herbert and Harbaugh. Most people are going to pick Herbert and Harbaugh. The reason why is because Herbert and Hurts, they're going to be a wash. But Harbaugh versus Sirianni, Harbaugh is way better than Sirianni. Like, nobody seriously critiquing the game can say that, like, Harbaugh isn't better than Sirianni as a coach. And so that's, like, kind of putting, like, my guys on the Eagles down. So I'll say number 5, Rams. 5 Rams, and I could really have them number 1, but I'm more looking at, like, future longevity and all that stuff, and, like, what they can do right now too. For the Bills, you got Joe Brady, you got Josh Allen. They already had that continuity. Number 3, Lamar Jackson, Jesse Minter. Like, Lamar, MVP, could have got 3 MVPs, 3 All-Pros. Jesse Minter did phenomenal with the Chargers. And then, you got to go, I might be missing one. Do I get nasty here? I might get nasty. I'm gonna bump. All right, I'm gonna put the Eagles 5. I'm gonna put the Rams 4. I'll put the Bills 3, Ravens 2, and then Chiefs 1. You can't go wrong with Mahomes and Reed. That's just, if you don't have them number 1, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I got Mahomes and Reed at 1, like, full transparency. At 4, I went Drake May and Mike Vrabel. How long Mike Vrabel sticks around, that's yet to be seen. Like, there's new news dropping every single day on this story. I don't necessarily know what that looks like heading into next season, but as of right now, I like the duo Drake May, the promise he's shown. I also went with, like, upside picks here too. So at 3, I had Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, a duo that I see a whole lot of future upside and talent with. I think Caleb Williams has the star potential to be, MVP caliber player at some point in his career. And Ben Johnson, obviously the offensive guru that we've been blessed to watch. At 2, I had the Rams with Stafford and McVay. Obviously, like one of the closest duos to the gold standard, and they have been that for a while, winning a Super Bowl, making it pretty far this year in the playoffs. I do expect them to be back in that Super Bowl mix next year. But like you said, MJ, number 1, Mahomes and Andy Reid, the Kansas City Chiefs, they are the gold standard, right? Like, I wouldn't fall into the recency bias that anyone's above them. Those two paired with one another with a competent team, you're looking at a playoff team 100% of the time, like an 100% hit rate. And I do think they'll end up proving that again at some point. Like I said, I'll give my honorable mentions to Purdy and Shanahan, Herbert Hardbaugh, and Bo Nix, Sean Payton. I realized it was a tougher list than I really initially thought when I started going through it, because there are so many quarterbacks in that gray area, but good coaches, right? Like Purdy, good quarterback. I like him, and Shanahan's a great coach, but like, are you going to give them credit or Darnold and McDonald for winning a Super Bowl, right? So it's tough, but those are our top 5 head coach, quarterback duos in the league. MJ, let's talk offenses now. So last year, the league average for offensive points per game is 22.4 points per game. The New York Giants were smack dab in the middle, tied with a few other teams. I think the Steelers were up there too. Will these NFL offenses score more or less points than the average this season, 2026? Number 1, your Philadelphia Eagles, a team that struggled below the average last year. I'm saying over, but this is all hinged on that offensive coordinator, and I do think the talent is just unquestionable. Like, if the O-line is healthy and they have the continuity, Saquon Barkley has to be back at least as like a 1,200-yard rusher, and that's like a bare minimum, in my opinion.
And what's their over on their points?
I don't know if there was an over on their points, but last year they were at 22 points per game, and the average was at 22.4.
The Eagles' offense in 2026 is going to be light years better than the Eagles' offense in 2025. And the big key is going to be how Saquon and Mekhi Lemon, how they play with each other. Because Mekhi Lemon is going to open up the field for Saquon Barkley. All them linebackers and safeties, they got to focus on Mekhi Lemon running through the middle of the field, like they say Hurts doesn't want to do. Well, we're about to change that narrative next season, and it's going to open lanes for Saquon to where it's not all the focus on him. But it's all down to the offensive line, too. Now, folks might say, Hurts, question about him. Nah. There's no questions to me about Jalen Hurts' ability, what he's going to prove next season. The question is, can the offensive line hold up, especially in the run game? And if Hurts can be a willing runner of the football. I will say this, too. The Eagles could get really, really freaky because they got 2 Taysom Hills. They got Eli Stowers. They have Cole Payton from North Dakota State. Eli Stowers is their tight end that they drafted in the 2nd round. Well, he's a former 4-star quarterback that came from Texas A&M. He was at New Mexico State with Diego Pavia, followed them to Vanderbilt. So he has a quarterback background. Then you got Cole Payton, who rushed for almost 2,000 rushing yards, in college. You could really go crazy. So I would definitely see this being a 25, 27, point per game type of offense. And, I got big expectations, high hopes for Sean Mannion.
Yeah, it was the OC really that held them back from being at least a decent offense last year. I just didn't think that they were consistent. It was a tough watch for most of the time last year. So I do think if the OC can at least string just a few plays together here, I know they probably lose A.J. Brown, but Mekhi Lemon slots in nicely there as a slot option for Jalen Hurts. I think they're over the average this year. I think that they're a solid offense. Number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs, 21.3 points per game last year. I'm saying they're over the average this year. Over by a hair would be my best guess. I still think they're lacking in the receiving room. Travis Kelce aging. I don't think they have this true dominant number 1. But the addition of Kenneth Walker is huge. They finally get a real run game. I do think they're probably going to be like, if I were to guess, like between the 16th and 12th highest scoring offense in 2026.
I'm not really too high on this offense because they didn't draft anything on offense really like
Right.
in the first round, and so I'm looking at the pass catches that Mahomes got to play with. So Rasheed Rice, is he gonna like take that next step? Like before the injury, you saw like him show wide receiver one ability. You want to see more from him. I don't think Xavier Worthy's a one. I think he's a two, and that's okay. Not everybody can be a one. Also, that Travis Kelsey, who he's on his last leg. He's on his last leg, so they're still relying a lot on Patrick Mahomes, and we're seeing you can be the best quarterback in the league, but like the league is gonna catch up to you. And if you don't have the requisite talent that can get you over the hump, then it's gonna be all on your quarterback to just make something out of nothing. And that's what he was doing last season. And he was amazing, but the defense wasn't good. Look, if the defense is good, we'll talk about them, I guess. But back to the offense, I'm not really too high on it.
Yeah, it'll be tough. A team in their division as well that I had up here, MJ. Number 3, the LA Chargers, who had 20.5 points per game last year. I'm saying over on this, and there are two main reasons why. I think a healthy O-line is the recipe for success if you're looking at Justin Herbert. He hasn't had healthy protection really throughout his career. Healthy Joe Walton, Rashawn Slater, plus the additions they made in free agency and the draft should be big. I also think they'll be playing in high-scoring games and playing from behind a lot more without Jesse Minter, which means this offense is that much more productive and that much more enticing if you're, drafting early or mid-rounds in fantasy drafts. I think the Chargers offense kind of explodes if they can get that protection aspect, especially without that, confidence that the defense is there with Jesse Minter.
Look, you hit the nail on the head, JV. It's about the offensive line. Justin Herbert and Mike McDaniel together with a solid offensive line is going to put up video game numbers. It's going to be ridiculous. If Mike McDaniel was able to do that with Tua, imagine what he's going to do with Justin freaking Herbert. So I believe that offense is going to be prolific. It'll probably be a top 5, top 4 offense. And then Mike McDaniel's going to get a head coaching position next season. And that's the whole plan. That's why he went to the Chargers. And I don't blame him at all. And Herbert's going to put up a monster season. And I think one bet that you might put, and this might sound crazy coming from me, but Herbert could be in the running for MVP if the record is great. Because if the record is great, oh my gosh, yeah. Herbert's going to put up some numbers, and he could be in the running for sure.
He should be. I don't mind that take, MJ. Number 4, the Houston Texans, who were almost at 24 points per game last year. I'm saying under the average. I don't like C.J. Stroud right now. I don't like what I've seen. Again, it's a lot of faith lost, in my opinion, in C.J. Stroud, and a concern in the receiver room health-wise. I mean, Tank Dell, I don't know necessarily where he's at. Nico Collins, I can't guarantee he's on the field week to week. Maybe he will be there for 17 games. Maybe he won't be. And the run game, they add David Montgomery, but it's like, I don't know, man. I like David Montgomery as a 1-2 punch with Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know how much I like him if he's, the outright one in Houston. I think this defense steals the show more times than not. I think Houston's offense suffers next year, and they're around like the 21 points per game mark.
Well, they're asking their new offensive guard from Georgia Tech, to be that main guy and to help beef up that offensive line because you got to start with the run game, and you have to have David Montgomery going. That opens up the pass with Nico, deep shots, and is Tank Dell, is he playing next season, or is he might be
from what I've seen, but that's a serious injury, man. It's just like, and I know they got Higgins there too. It's just, it's a lot of uncertainty in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a lot, and so I'm really concerned about the offensive line. We know with a D'Amico Ryan's defense, like they'll be nice, but that offense, bro, like I'm really not too high on it. And the CJ Stroud fact, like the last time we seen him, he was the worst quarterback we've probably ever seen in our life. If any decent quarterback against the Patriots would have won that game, with how bad Drake May was playing, and CJ Stroud was actually 10 times worse, and that's pretty hard to do. So, eh, I guess if you want to be a contrarian, you could say, well, I believe in CJ Stroud. Well, if you believe in CJ Stroud, hit the over. But a lot of folks are going to be saying, I saw what I saw in the playoffs, and yeah, I'm not hitting the over on that.
I ain't betting on that either, man. Last team we had, number 5, the Indianapolis Colts, with a monster production year last year offensively, 27.4 points per game. I'm saying under the average this year. I'm really questioning what Daniel Jones looks like post ACL. I know they bring Alec Pierce back, but I didn't really love the contract. And I know that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the offensive production here, but I don't know, man. I'm not sold on Daniel Jones and an Indianapolis Colts offense right now. It doesn't sound sexy to me. I think they excelled last year against, maybe weaker teams early on, but when the going got tough later on in the season, it kind of just fell apart, in my opinion.
Yeah, it fell apart. They're going to be the last. Well, they're going to be the worst team in their division. Yeah, I'll say it again. Like the Colts are going to be the worst team in the AFC South next year, and the Texans, their defense is going to be lights out. They got to play them twice a year. That's going to be hell. Then you got the Jaguars, and they're going to have Travis Hunter playing corner more. Their defense be giving them hell. Then you got the Titans, and they got Robert Saleh calling the defense, and you got Brian Daboll. No, I don't believe in Daniel Jones, Shane Steichen, at all. And I'll be nasty real quick. I hope if Shane Steichen, I ain't saying I'm advocating for the guy to lose his job. I hope he keeps his job, but if he ends up losing his job, the Colts have a bad season, their offense isn't too good, and Nick Sirianni happens to lose his job. Well, I would love if Shane Steichen would just bring his way back to Philly and we can just run it back like 2022. But yeah, I'm sorry, I had to get that in.
You good. There's no place like home. That was our over or under offensive points for 2026. Last segment we had up here, MJ. We've done it before. I think we did it last season, maybe on your show. Our top 4 divisions in the NFL. There are some divisions where you're looking at it, and I mentioned it early on in the episode. There are like 4 playoff teams. Some divisions, I don't even think they got one, but we'll go through it. These are the top 4 divisions in the NFL for 2026. I'll go 4-1. I'll give you the stage then, MJ. At 4, I had the NFC East, Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants. I think at least 2 teams, the Eagles and the Cowboys, make the playoffs in 2026. High-powered offensively. And with the Giants drastically improving, bringing on John Harbaugh, I think this division looks a lot better than it once was. At 3, I got the NFC North, Bears, Packers, Vikings, Lions. This has 4 legitimate playoff teams, 4 teams that could sneak into the playoffs. They won't all make it, but they definitely could. I love where the Bears are trending. The Packers are always real solid. The Vikings, like we talked about with Kyler Murray, could be something super special. And the Lions, that offense is always going to be super exciting. At 2, I had the AFC West with the Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, and Raiders. The Raiders really kind of the trash can right now, but I do see them taking huge strides. I love what they're doing with Mendoza. They drafted decent. Their free agency was nice. They had a lot of money to spend. But listen, the Broncos, a team that I think should have made the Super Bowl last year had Bo Nix been healthy. The Chargers with protection for Herbert. And the Chiefs, I won't bet against Mahomes and Reed at this point. But number 1 is the NFC West. Number 1, the NFC West, Seattle Seahawks, Rams, Niners. The Cardinals are whatever, man. Those are 3 teams that could genuinely win the Super Bowl this year. Those are my top 4, MJ. What you got?
I would say at 4, AFC West. I think you have the Broncos. That's a talented squad, and they added Jalen Waddle. They're gonna put up some numbers with Sean Payton. The Chiefs, they're gonna be better, highly motivated. The Chargers, they're gonna be better. They have better coaching. They have a huge upgrade at OC, and you got the Raiders that they got all these pieces. Like they're not gonna make it to the playoffs. Hell no, but they're gonna make it super tough. So they might string together 4 or 5 wins, something like that. So I like them number 4. Number 3, NFC East. Y'all know how I feel about the Eagles, and I feel like they're gonna be at least an 11-win team in the league. You have the Cowboys; they're probably gonna be a double digit win team, and the Commanders. Look, I've been I've been hating on the Giants, but if everybody's healthy, and this really pains me because I don't like New York. I do not like New York right now because y'all Knicks fans piss me off. But if they're healthy and Jackson Dart isn't taking all these hits, and Malik Neighbors showed what he was doing his rookie season and last season too. I mean, ultimately they'll be a formidable force, especially if they get their defense right. They got DJ Reader and Arvell Reese, and they're trying to spread it around on that defensive line. So, I like both of them and the Commanders to make competitive. It could be a situation where like you have the Eagles with 12, 13 wins. You have the Cowboys 12 wins. You have the Commanders 8 wins. You got the Giants with 7, 8, 9. Like that can happen. I'm being overly optimistic, but as we get to next one, number 2, AFC North. I think the AFC North with the Ravens, they're going to be much improved. The Bengals, their defense, they got some players now.
They do.
You talk about the Steelers. Like, I will say with them, you don't know if you can bank on them just getting 9 wins with Mike Tomlin. You can just stamp that every single year. This year, now, I've heard some good stuff about Mike McCarthy, and I feel like he gets a bad rap. Like, he has a very similar resume to Sean Payton. So I don't think the Steelers will, like, fall off a cliff. And then when you have the Browns, like, all right, I'm a Shadori guy, like, but if their first round picks and early, if they hit with all the picks they had and them tackles they got and offensive linemen, wide receivers, if just 2 of them hit, like they're gonna be a 7-win team, and they get the quarterback right. Like if they get the quarterback right, watch out, watch out.
It's wraps, man.
Watch
They're a good
out.
team. They're a good team.
Whether it's Shador that go crazy or it's Deshaun Watson just somehow just like gets the magic elixir or something, like nah, that would be insane. If y'all try to make some money, just saying, like, if you believe in Deshaun or Shador, then definitely do them. So, yeah, I would say them number 2. Oh, no, yeah, because we got AFC West, we got NFC East. So 5, 4, 3. Okay. Then number 2, the NFC West. I think got the Rams, self-explanatory, Seahawks, 49ers. They all could have damn near had the number 1 seed last season. It doesn't always carry over to next season. I think the 49ers might take a bigger drop off, but you gotta respect the Rams and the Seahawks for they'll be top, in the NFC. They'll have double-digit wins. And then number 1 is a tough one because I can go a bunch of different. I can go the NFC North. Like I can go. Yeah, I think I'll go to NFC North because I think the Lions are gonna be the number 1 seed in the NFC. They're gonna have an easy schedule, and all of the records, like with the Vikings, like the Packers, like they're gonna be much improved, I think. And the Bears, I think, are the only one that will take a step back. I think the Bears had to take a huge step back next season, and we can probably talk about that another day. But I'm low on the Bears, but everybody else, I think, can all make the playoffs.
Yes, sir, MJ. That was a blast. Let the people know where they can find you.
Hey, man, Real Talk with MJ on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Come find me talking Eagles, talking basketball, talking NFL, We'll do World Cup later this summer. So tune in for that, JV. I appreciate you having me on. And yeah, I can't wait to get to this NFL season. Look, the draft was what it was about almost a month ago, I guess. About to hit a month, and then it's about to be OTAs and training camp. I can't wait for the best time of the year.
We right around the corner, man. Good to have you. We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir.